One of the very common misconceptions is that tax rates are the same thing as tax revenues. In other words, if we increase the tax rate, we'll increase revenues. And when we decrease tax rates, well, that means we must be decreasing tax revenues. And nothing could be further from the truth. You can only increase tax rates. You cannot actually increase taxes. Now, changing the tax rate may very well cause taxes paid to go up, but you're not doing it directly. And that's a very, very important distinction to draw here. You can only change the tax rate. Then people will respond accordingly. And that takes us into the second part of this question, where we talk about behavioral response. People's behavioral responses to tax cuts is simply an example of them following their preferences and the incentives presented to them. So if the taxes on my income, for instance, are cut, chances are I'm going to work more. Why? Because in the marginal case, when I decide an extra hour of work is no longer worth it because of the high marginal tax rate, once you take that high marginal tax rate away, I have more incentive to work because I get to keep more of what I earn. On top of that, the tax cuts in 1986 also involved corporate taxes. So a corporation, because they get to keep more of their money, well, corporations, we have to remember, aren't really people, right? There are investors behind the corporation. So if a corporation, quote unquote, gets to keep more of its money, that actually means that the investors get to keep more of their money. If that's the case, you're more likely to invest. You're more likely to invest more. So again, there's this distinction between tax rates and tax revenues. And you can actually cut tax rates and see tax revenues increase.